Hi guys, hope everybody's doing well. In today's video, I want to share with you some of the trends that I've been experiencing, how the month of May ended up panning out for me, and what some of the trend lines look like for the upcoming future, and how you should really be adjusting your listings so that you can really maximize the amount of bookings that you have, hopefully to help sort of offset some of the losses or the slow business that we experienced in March, April, and May. So for me personally, May started off to a great start. I was really hopeful for the month of May. One, because we have two holidays. We had Mother's Day and we had Memorial Day. And also because May is one of the few months that has 5 weekends in it. So typically May is one of those months, at least here in this area, that performs very, very well. We usually have very good weather. We're in the 70s and 80s. People are beginning their summer travels, and it's just a great time of the year. It's a great start to the summertime. Now, looking at my sales for the month of May, like I said, beginning of May, first 2 weeks were really great. They were almost back to normal booking levels of any normal year. So I was really hopeful and excited because originally I had planned for business to be slow up until July. So it really far exceeded my expectations. But then we ended up entering into the second half of May, and the market just kind of sort of flatlined for me, and I know for this area as well, really took a downturn and slowed down. And that could really be due to a lot of reasons, but even on a very popular holiday weekend like Memorial Day weekend, I could not get all my cars out. And even this past weekend was even worse than Memorial Day weekend. I mean, with low prices, with instant booking, Turo Go, I just could not get the bookings. And that was the case for mostly everybody in the market in this area because I could tell by the inventory that was available. Now, of course, we've had such an anomaly of events take place that definitely attributed to some of this. For Memorial Day, I understand that maybe it wasn't so busy because most people likely stayed home and barbecued because there wasn't that many places to go to. But now here in this area in LA County and Orange County, restaurants and all businesses have pretty much opened back up. So I thought that I would see a little bit more of an uptick in the amount of rentals that I'm receiving and getting more bookings, but that wasn't the case. And I think that's also in part due to the protests that have been going on, a lot of freeways being blocked, roads being blocked, and also, because of that, businesses having to close down early, curfews, and so on and so forth. So I think that definitely affected the business as well. So just a culmination of things. And then again, it's really being sort of cautious towards the market because it is really hard to depict exactly what the trends are going to look like. And it just seems like it's going to be an up and down roller coaster. A lot of people finally received their stimulus checks, so that probably helped drive traffic in the beginning of May, whereas people probably spent that money and don't have as much money towards the end of May. So all of these things probably attribute to sort of these awkward trends that we're seeing that are not consistent. So what Turo did was they sent out a few emails, and I'm going to link all of this to my description below because I definitely think that it's worth your while to read it and kind of grasp an understanding of what's going on. So they had a really good post on what the trends look like, what they've seen in March and April and May. And then there's a great post on doing contactless check-ins and checkouts, so make sure that you have all your bases covered. And then I also have a really good guide for trends in the Los Angeles area. So if you're a host from this area, this would definitely be really helpful for you. So for me personally, the end of May, I ended up being about 38% down from my average sales volume. Now, I'm not comparing my sales to last year because again, we are just in such unusual times that it wouldn't make sense for me to compare it to last year. So my baseline right now, my baseline is really just comparing it to my average sales. So I was 38% down from my average sales, but just to give you guys some additional information, if I looked at my sales this year versus last year, I was down between 60 to 65%. So a really dramatic difference. Now, of course, I do have a few fewer cars than I did last year, but even so, even if I had those additional cars, it still would have been very slow. So just the landscape of everything is very, very, very different. So if you guys recall from my video last month of April, I ended up being 58% down from my average sales volume, and month of May shifted towards 38%. So we're making some progress. I don't have a ton of future bookings. I do have some, but not as many as I normally would have going into the summer season. And another thing that I noticed is that I've always had sort of a set of renters who come and vacation here every summer, and every year they come back to me and rent from me again. Those type of renters I've noticed have not come back and have not rented, and usually they book in advance. So I am also missing that type of business as well. And of course, I'm assuming that, people have just really switched up the type of plans that they've made, and business is just not as usual. In other good news today, I had one of my first John Wayne bookings in many, many months. And so that was really exciting. And actually, I had one today and I have one tomorrow as well. Now, usually during this time of year, I easily have, on average, 2 to 3 John Wayne bookings per week, because that's how many people I have coming into town. Easily, if not more. But that's just kind of not the case right now. However, when I went to John Wayne, I was really looking at the parking lots, because when all this went down, I did a couple of videos showing the parking lots, and it was an absolute ghost town. I'm super happy to report that when I saw the parking lot today, it was at about 40% occupancy. So that's really great. Shows that people are opening up to traveling again. So I was really happy to see that many cars in the parking lot. Gave me hope for the upcoming months if we're experiencing that end of May, early June. Hopefully, as we get into July and August, those trends will improve. All right, so let me kind of browse through this post that Turo put up, and I just want to share with you guys some tips based on the trends that they've seen that you can apply to your listings to really help you capture those bookings for people who are out there that want to rent. So one of the trend number one that Turo shared was short lead times will still always win the day, right? So according to their data, 27% of bookings are made within a 1 to 2 hour time frame. So meaning if it's noon, somebody needs a car for 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. So you want to have that short booking time frame. You definitely don't want to have a 6-hour minimum or a 24-hour minimum. That's going to really kill your shot at capturing some of these bookings. So that was definitely the number one trend in terms of lead time. So again, that was 27% of all bookings. Second to that was 12 to 24-hour notice, which was 19% of bookings. And then third to that is 24 to 48-hour notice, which was 13% of bookings. So definitely adjust your listings to reflect that. Trend number 2, trip lengths are contracting. So meaning that they are, I believe, getting smaller. Yes. Okay. So basically what it's showing here, it's doing a comparison between March and May. So it's showing that in the month of March, trips that were between 1 to 2 days were 22%. And in the month of May, trips that are between 1 to 2 days are now 39% of all bookings. So again, showing you that most people are booking between 1 to 2 day trips. So you want to make sure that if you have any, say like 3-day minimums, that you're adjusting that if you're looking to really capture any rentals that might be out there. Then second to that, we're seeing 2 to 3 days bookings. In the month of March, that made up 28% of bookings. And now in the month of May, that's making up 21% of bookings, still having the leader be 1 to 2 day bookings. So what do we know so far? People want to book and pick up a car within a 1 to 2 hour time frame, and they're usually looking to rent between 1 and 2 days. So again, really short time frames. Okay, so let's see what else we have here. So it says trend number 3, many trips are local with longer road trips on deck. Let's see what that means. So now they're doing a little bit of a comparison between the beginning of March to May 3rd. And it's showing that in mid-April, about 70+% of trips were from locals. So that's people within your direct vicinity, people in your local areas, your cities and your counties that want to rent. And I have found that to be 100% true. I think my percentage is even higher than that. I would be as bold to say probably even 95% of my bookings have been local. So even actually the John Wayne booking that I had this morning was actually from somebody who is local that was flying back into town. So local bookings, absolutely. That's my rental audience for sure that I'm capturing. Okay, so finally, if you are in the Los Angeles area, and maybe if you are in some other major cities, you may want to consider this data, but this data is specifically for the Los Angeles area. So it says last minute trips remain popular. 82% of trips have been booked within 24 hours of trip starts. So again, going back to people want the short time frames, they're booking last minute, maybe making last minute plans to get out of the house or go somewhere. Guests overwhelmingly favor cars with book instantly enabled. So it shows that book instantly in the month of, I'm going to read you guys 4 months, February, March, April, May, what percentage of reservations were book instantly? So in February, it was 85% of all reservations. In March, it was 88%. In April, it was 89%. And in the month of May, it was 88%. So, I mean, we're right around the 90% mark of all bookings where people's preferences book instantly. So you want to make sure that you have that option. I have that option on all of my cars, book instantly, and I have Turo Go on the cars that are eligible for the Turo Go program. And that has been huge for me personally, navigating these times. People love the contactless and just being able to book last minute, come pick it up, unlock the car and get going. So that's been really nice. It says in the LA area, 35% of trips were 2 days or fewer, mainly booked by locals. So again, this is reflecting almost the same exact data that we saw in the general data trends that they provided, where the majority of trips are for 1 to 2 days and that they're being booked by locals. So again, you really want to make sure that you are positioning yourself to really market to that type of buyer, someone who's looking for 1 to 2 days and wants to pick up within 1 to 2 hours. Make sure you have your cars ready to go so that people can book those types of trips. All right, so it's saying we're seeing lower prices being booked across the board, with Mustangs being the most popular option. So over here, this is based on the last 14 days. So we're probably looking at the last 2 weeks of May right here. It says SUVs and pickups, people are booking at a rate of about $58. Sports cars and roadsters, people are booking at a rate of $57. Upscale cars, people are booking at about $56. Vans and minivans, people are booking at around average of $53 for the daily price. Mid-size, full-size cars are $29, and compact and subcompact are around $25. So these prices are quite low. I personally found myself throughout most of May being priced higher than this, really back to sort of my average prices. However, the end of May was quite slow, and going into June, it's been slow as well. So I will begin to dip down my prices a little bit lower. And then percentage of trips by make and model over the last 2 weeks of May. Mustangs have been very popular. Second to that, it's been the Tesla Model 3, Jeep Wranglers, and a Nissan Versa. Third to that has been Dodge Challenger, the Corvette, and the Hyundai Elantra. And then finally, we have a Mercedes-Benz C-Class, a Kia Forte, and a Toyota Prius. So those are kind of the ones that are being sought after from people. So these are some of the trends that I've come across, which I thought this information was very helpful. Some of you guys have snoozed your listings over the last couple months, and maybe you're just getting back in the groove of things. So given everything that's happened and what we've experienced, this is probably how you want to sort of guide your listings so that you cater to this type of audience. And on that note, guys, I will wrap up this video right here. A few things that I'm going to include in the description below is, one is the guide to contactless check-ins and checkouts. This is a fantastic guide that was put together by Turo. It is an excellent breakdown of everything you need to know. And also there's been many people who asked me about lockboxes. I haven't used those, but I think I am going to get a few for a few of my cars that don't have the ability to kind of connect digitally to them, for example, like my Jeep. And this has some excellent suggestions as for some great lock boxes that you can order off of Amazon. And it's going to walk you through exactly what you need to do if you are doing virtual handoffs and check-ins and checkouts. So definitely go through that. And then I will also post a link to the trend lines that we've seen over these last couple months. So moving forward, going into June and July, I am remaining very vigilant and aggressive in my listings. I'm really making sure that I'm watching the market very closely and I'm adjusting accordingly. June is off to a bit of a slow start, which usually the first week of a month tends to be kind of slow. But I think also on top of that, with everything that's going on, that is also sort of driving the market down. Also, another note, just to kind of put it out there, if you are in any of these areas where there is a lot of rioting and looting going on and you're getting bookings in these areas, just be careful. Make sure you do your due diligence and really making sure that the guest who is renting the car, that you have good communication and that they seem reliable and credible. Around here, we've been hearing a lot that a lot of the cars that have been used for looting were out-of-state rental vehicles or some sort of rental car. So that's what people have been doing. So you just want to try to avoid that to the best of your ability. I actually got a really fishy rental today, and just to be on the safe side, I canceled it because of everything that's going on. So you just want to be diligent and just pay attention. Keep your eyes open because you just never know. And you don't want to get yourself caught into a situation like that. All right, guys. So on that note, that is it in terms of the trends and what my sales look like for the month of May. I would love to know how the month of May ended up looking for you guys, any of you guys who have had your listings active on the platform. I'm hopeful for June and July. I'm cautiously optimistic, but I think that, we can definitely expect for some better trends to show up. Also, I will be in Denver, Colorado, second week of July. So I am looking for a car to rent. If any of you are from Denver, I will be flying into Denver International Airport, and I'll probably be driving maybe about 400 miles or so during my trip. So if any of you guys have some really cool listings, I'd be more than happy to rent from you and even do a video on your car. So if you do rent your car out in that area and you deliver to Denver Airport, shoot me a link down below and I'll definitely check out your listing. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm happy to be back. Send me your questions and comments and I'll definitely be in touch with you guys. Bye, guys.